also joined now live by the Shadow Secretary of State for Levelling Up Communities and Housing, that's Lisa Nandy, who is unhappy with the government's response to the refugees trying to leave Ukraine and come here. We'll come to that in just 10 seconds, Lisa, but just first of all, I know you were watching that interview there with Alexei Manailo, the Russian opposition activist. The raw courage of these people takes your breath away, doesn't it?
It was just incredibly moving to listen to him speak. There are people in Russia who deserve all of our help and thanks. They are amazing. The courage that they're showing, given the consequences for people like him of speaking out if he's found, is just utterly inspirational. It was an amazing interview, and thank you for showing it.
As I say, the raw courage we're seeing both in parts of Russia and obviously across the Ukraine is awe-inspiring. Let's talk about what we can do for people coming out of Ukraine. You've got doubts about this government policy, the 350 quid a month, etc. What are they?
Yeah, you left Michael Gove slamming the lectern with his fist. He's so furious at the fact that not everybody is saying it's a fantastic idea. What are the problems?
Look, I don't think he's furious with me, actually. I think he's furious with himself for not being able to get the wheels of government moving, because the truth is that this is a great idea. There are so many people across this country who want to help. It's not just the public, it's businesses, it's councils, it's charities. I've been absolutely inundated with the way that this has touched people's hearts. And we're trying to reach out to the people of Ukraine and say, we want to help. But the difficulty is that the scheme that the government has set up leaves all of the bureaucratic hurdles in place. You've got to flee Ukraine, you've got to get away from the bombs and the bullets, you've got to get yourself to an internet cafe and fill in a 50-page form online. You've got to upload a whole host of documents, your mortgage documents, your water bill. I mean, these are things that people fleeing Putin just simply don't have. And even if you manage to get through all of those bureaucratic hurdles and get a visa granted, then what you've got to do under this scheme is advertise yourself online. You've got to get onto Instagram or TikTok and show yourself to the British public and hope that a British family will pick you up and match you and apply through this scheme to the Department of Levelling Up to sponsor you. Then you've got to make sure that the placement is safe. No conversations have taken place with councils or charities at all. The Secretary of State literally has not picked up the phone to talk to them about how they're going to vet those placements and make sure that we can get people into them quickly. The public is doing their bit and stepping up and coming forwards. We've seen it in the sheer numbers of people who've tried to sign up to this scheme. But unless the government does its job, we're going to see the numbers of people who are actually able to seek sanctuary in Britain become vanishingly small. And that would be a betrayal, not just of the brave people of Ukraine, but of people like the last person you just interviewed, who are putting everything on the line to stand up against Russian aggression.
Well, let's just say you're in charge. You are now in charge. Lisa Nandy is in charge of this scheme. What would you do differently?
We would cut the excessive bureaucracy, so it's right to have checks, not least because there are lots of people on the move, including children, so we need to know who they are and where they're going. But the government has accepted that you could cut the excessive bureaucracy, you could have basic biometric checks, security checks, you could do those online, and you could have an immediate decision and get people out to safety and into the UK very, very quickly, rather than the months of delay that people are currently facing. These are older people, these are vulnerable children, mums with very young kids. These are quite unlike the usual cohort of refugees that we see, because the brutal truth is that a lot of working age people have stayed behind in Ukraine to fight and to defend their country. So we've got to help people very quickly. We can't leave them sitting by the roadside in freezing conditions, homeless for months, when there are people in Britain who want to step up, who want to step forwards. We need to move much, much more quickly than this. That's why I think Michael Gove is frustrated, because he knows that this could be sorted out today if there was political will to do it.
Actually, one of the things that he said when he was slamming the lecterns, incredibly frustrated, was he cannot stand the repeated use of the hostile environment tag. And he says that was a policy that was introduced under Labour. He won't take ownership of it.
look, there's no question about this. We've seen the ramping up of brutal, hostile policies towards people who come here seeking asylum over the last decade. It happened under Theresa May. It's happening under Boris Johnson. I think Michael Gove's frustration is actually with the fact that he keeps being sent out to clean up the mess that is being made by the Home Office, the mess that is being made by Priti Patel and by Boris Johnson.
But he's got a choice. It's a policy that didn't start with the Conservatives?
Well, look, I mean, I came into Parliament having worked with refugee children for a decade, advocating for better treatment and support for those children when they come to the UK. It's absolutely right to have immigration controls, but there's a very big difference between having a robust immigration policy and being tough on vulnerable people. And I think you're seeing that right now, is that the British public want to help the people who are fleeing Putin. They want to come forward and show a typically British, warm, generous welcome. Yeah. We're a better government, we're a better country than the government that we currently have. Right. And we've got to put in place a system that allows people to show the best of Britain. Yeah. We're desperate to do it in every corner of this country, and the government isn't stepping in.
I hope you'll forgive us. We haven't had time to get to what you wanted to say about scrapping the elections bill, but we'll do that another time, I promise, because it's an important subject. But thank you very much for coming on this morning.